Giant 5 Jeff from 2 Hex Garage. Well, it's one of those days. It's nice out. It's beautiful out. The weekend's over. But you know what? Just got done with work, and I'm going to do a little bit of work on the Thunderbird. I did get my crush washers in to hopefully to get these calipers to seal correctly. Been fighting that even though everything's brand new. Getting there. We'll get it all figured out. I'm not too worried about that. Carburetor parts, they still haven't come in yet. But you know what? They're going to be in here soon. I talked to Jimmy. He's also got a big block Ford tunnel ram, 2 Hollies like this that's on his T-bucket. And he's having some of the similar issues along with some ignition stuff. So hopefully later on this week when I get those parts in, not only am I going to set up mine, but I'm going to help him set his up too. And we'll get them both fine-tuned. So what did I do to hopefully seal these crush washers? I did get some new just copper ones here. And the only difference is it's the same diameter hole, but it's a wider washer that has more sealing surface. I'm going to give these a shot. But I also did get what's considered a bonded seal assortment. It's a copperized washer, but on top of it, what it's got an inner rubber seal that's safe for different fluids and all that. These are used for like Cummins applications, high pressure hydraulics, brakes, you name it. Read a lot of good reviews online, not 100% sold. I've never used them. But you know what, if these copper ones don't work, we're gonna give these a shot and go from there. So yeah, it's just gonna be a little bit of brake work tonight and waiting on parts. So maybe this week there's not gonna be a whole lot of content, but I can tell you this, we're gonna get banging out on the Project 9194 Silverado LS swap. We're gonna start working on that frame. We did get the cab off. Mike from 150 Speed Shop, he's working on his El Caminos that are also LS swapped, and he's got all kinds of goodies. Sent me some pictures today of stuff that he ordered. So yeah, you're going to probably start seeing more of that content also. Kyle, you know what? He's got a whole bunch of stuff done on his GTO, whether it be cooling systems, brakes, tires, wheels, you name it. And we need to go check that out sometime soon. Eddie, always got a lot of stuff going on also. He's got that badass Chevelle and that rowdy Camaro. Need to catch up with him. There's a whole lot of stuff going on, but most importantly right now, instead of hearing me ramble, let's go ahead and let's see if we can get these brakes to seal, bleed them, and make sure everything works. So with that, guys, we'll see you soon.
real quick. Just a quick video. We've bled them once. So far, replacing the crush washers, they haven't leaked. We got pretty good pedal, but we're gonna go through and bleed it once more. So here is a typical crush washer, the ones we couldn't get to seal correctly. Even tighten it down pretty hard. These things still were not sealing. I was going to anneal them, but I'd already bought these. This is like a dual bonded seal assortment. They do crush, and they're made for heavy duty hydraulic applications. The rubber seal is good for brake fluid, hydraulic fluid, and all that. So the theory is your banjo fitting goes through there. It creates a seal when it's crushed, and it keeps it from leaking. I wrote a lot of good things about these. We're gonna see how well it works. So you can kind of see a little bit of a difference between the two. Overall, you know, they're pretty much the same size. I got an assortment of these, and we're just gonna give it a shot. And you know what, right now it's actually sealing. No drips, no problem. So we're gonna give it a shot. Like I said, we're gonna go through and bleed it one more time, and I'll let it sit overnight, look for leaks in the morning. See you in a few.
Well, guess what, guys? Learned a few things. One, I still don't have brakes completely. They were dripping a little bit. They still, even though we bled it twice, it still didn't feel all that firm. I couldn't get them to lock. The only reason I was nailing it and testing it out like you saw in the video is trying to get them to lock, then under a hard load, see how quick I get it to stop. No dice. So what I did was I went back through it and we tightened up everything very, very, very well. Um, Check the master cylinder, it's got fluid. So I'm gonna let it sit overnight. And I wiped everything down also, and I'm gonna come back tomorrow when I get off of work and I'm gonna look for drips. So if it's dripping, I know that it's not sealing that well at all. Like the first time you saw in a video, it sprayed out, that's taken care of. But honestly, guys, if this doesn't work, there's a couple different options I'm going to go with. One of them being is I'm going to get actual different brake lines, not the factory Ford ones. I'm going to go look for a really good braided stainless with a new banjo bolt and go from there. And on top of it too, as I might end up trying, if I go back to the copper ones, just the pure copper, not the dual bond, I might try to anneal them. Annealing is a process of heating copper, making it soft. And in the case of copper, because of the metallurgy, you can heat it without having to quench it, let it cool on its own, and then crush it down, and that should work. So that's kind of where I'm at with this right now. We're getting closer and closer and closer. You know what, guys? It's frustrating because I really, really am just wanting just to get this thing tuned and then call it done and get it out driving. Brakes didn't feel terrible, but with this much horsepower, and if I was going to drive this in traffic, absolutely not. I wouldn't trust it. So being with that, guys, give me a break. Name of the title, you understand why now. Need to get these working. So, and oh, on top of that too, is when I go to put these new lines on, the one thing I am going to go back and do is I will re-bleed everything. And on top of it, I'm going to bleed the master cylinder again before I bleed everything. So it's going to basically just flush this system out completely and go from there. Hopefully that takes care of it. It's frustrating, but at the same time, lemons and lemonades. This car has been a whole process. I'm a Mopar guy at heart, getting into the Ford world, getting into a little bit different build per se than a lot of other vehicles. But at the same time, I've come a long way. I got to make through this. I got to start making some test hits with it, making sure everything else works. Because mind you, I haven't driven this car making sure it goes 1, 2, 3. I haven't driven it to making sure it tracks straight, doesn't overheat, it doesn't heat up the transmission too much. But you know what? We're making progress. Progress is always good, but time's a ticking. I really need to get this thing going. I'm going to make it. I'm going to get it done. So with that, guys, I hope everybody enjoyed tonight's video. Had some launches. I wasn't intending to play around with those. It was just launch, hit brakes. Launch, hit brakes, just to see what would happen. So with that, we'll see you tomorrow. And yeah, you all have a good night. See ya.